Hi, I'm Sarah Stokes and I'm joined by Becky Mullane of Dixon's Apple Orchard and now the new owner of an evergreen business, right, Becky?
That's right.
So into the weddings, and weddings are wonderful, and then when that season transitions, you're in the business of Christmas.
That's right.
And this week we are already in the Christmas spirit. So why is a fresh wreath special? Why is it worth the investment?
It is for many reasons. I would say the first reason is to get a full, heavy wreath that's fresh is definitely worth the investment.
And it could even lay in the center of your table for a centerpiece. It's so pretty. So once we buy one and we find that right wreath, and this has a couple of different greens in it, which makes it really neat. A lot of people want to personalize it, make it the color of their house scheme or their decor scheme, or add an initial, for instance. So Pinterest is full of cute ideas. We need to know how to wire them in. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay, so once you kind of have your idea, we're gonna go with the red, I believe, in this one, and some faux pine cones with snow on the pine, and a couple of different styles of wreath decorating, right? You can do like a lopsided or symmetrical. So this is a lopsided, right? So we have our general idea. That was simply 4 pieces of decoration. So where should we start now? Big piece first?
Yes.
Okay, so we can
Yes,
disassemble again and let you wire that in. And what do we need to be thinking about with this so we don't wreck it?
Right. So when we wire in, to make sure that it stays and that it looks nice on the wreath, we should, on a piece like this that's heavier, go around it and secure it tightly.
So you're wrapping around it, the
Right.
stem first.
Right. The stem first.
And then twist
then-
like a twisty?
Yep, like a twisty. And then we go down under and we find where it's attached to the ring. So you got to go down under through the greens.
Okay.
And now I've found where the core is. So then we take the wire down and we attach it tightly to that. Right.
That's great. This is gonna be pretty.
And then after you've attached it on the back, you make a loop and you twist it and you tuck all those wires in so it's not poking
So
anything.
it doesn't scratch your door.
Right. So poke those wires down in.
Ah,
Okay. All right. Then we come back around
Beautiful.
and we kind of fluff up around this now with
Okay.
with the greens. Okay, like this.
Nice. That looks awesome just by itself. So now we want to add a little color.
Kind of wire those in the same way
Okay.
and right down to the core. I would go around each one
Okay,
individually,
so-
tying like a twisty tie the same way. Okay.
All right. And then our bow. And a local craft store was so handy and made this already for us, but
Very
this is
nice.
an art all of itself. Came with the wire. Hopefully that's
Okay.
good enough length.
We will see.
Okay.
All right. So,
So you want to make sure your stuff is where you need it to be.
right.
And then snuggle it up in there. So once we figure out where we want our bow and we're kind of snuggling it up against our decor, same thing, just wire
Right.
again.
Right.
We
We
can
would
fluff
take those
later.
2 wires and go right down to that bottom part. That's fine.
I suppose the temptation would be to wire to your other existing stuff and then it'll
Right,
fall.
But then it won't be secure. Exactly. So we then go, we can go ahead and flip it over. It should be just fine. And we go ahead and twist that like a twisty tie. Just, they're all the same. And be very secure with this. Tight. And then of course tuck those wires in so if you hang it on a door or on a wall, that if it waves in the breeze or anything, it does not scratch your door.
Cool.
Okay.
And it's good the way it is, so let's show it quick and then we'll
Okay.
add the initial. How cute. So this was cute by itself, but monograms and initials are all the rage right now. So we found a cute little letter at a craft store for a couple of bucks. And we thought jute would be cute, or you could wire it if it works, but maybe tie it with the jute right to the ribbon.
Sure, and it could hang off like an ornament,
Yeah.
sort of.
This one has a hook, so that's
So-
handy.
So possibly tie it to the ribbon first.
Right, snuggle it down in so it doesn't pinch that pretty ribbon.
Right, get it way down to the very bottom.
Oh, I like it. So let's see how that looks when we hold it up. So there's an option too with the initial.
Very cute.
So we made the lopsided wreath with the decor on one side. People might want to do a more symmetrical design, right? So where do you start? You've picked your color scheme. We've got gold and white going on. Then how do you know what to do? So are we going to go with the grain of the greens and every other color? What do you think looks the best?
We chose where to put the bow first. So it's going to be at the top of the wreath. So coming down, we can come down a ways, and I think of it, I mean, if you want this to be symmetrical, I kind of think of it as a clock. So, you know, this
Got
would
your
go,
3 o'clock.
Yep,
And
this
your
would go
noon,
right by 3 o'clock.
12,
Yep.
okay.
This would be, well, just before.
5:30-ish.
Yep, somewhere in there. There we go.
Okay.
Coming up.
Gold, so every other.
Okay. Yep, going every other.
And then they're gonna wire these the same way we wired our decor the first time.
Right, very securely.
Place first,
Right.
wire second. So that looks pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
So we noticed after these 4 were in place that we needed a little something extra, and we had plain pine cones, but since we've got a little glitz and glam going on, we just use a little gold spray paint, and literally like 3 minutes later, we're ready to rock. So how do you wire a pine cone when you want to use it?
You come around the pine cone this way.
And you're
And
kind of wherever it'll let you,
right, through
but
the
mostly
bottom.
the bottom
Right,
rung.
you
Okay.
want it through the bottom.
Okay.
And then you just twist that on like,
Tie up your bread.
then let's say we're gonna put one right here in the middle of these two. You find that, dig down through the greens, so it's a little bit of a process, but it's not that bad. And this is gonna make this very secure, and it looks like your pine cone's hiding in there. And it kind of is.
So Becky has wired all the pine cones on. We're ready to do the last step, and we thought a couple of ornaments dangling from the center would be a really cute touch. So they come with strings already for the most part, but you're gonna wire them onto the frame of the wreath, I guess you can say. So how do you judge length and distance and what you need to do? Trial and error?
Trial and error, that's
Okay.
right. I think the first thing is to go ahead and you see where the bow's been attached. That's going to be the center where they need to hang down. So you could go through that wire.
Well, that makes sense. You do need it centered under your bow.
Right. Come underneath and then kind of tie it on. I think will be the best way.
And our large ornament's gonna snuggle in closer to the bow, and the little one's gonna dangle lower.
Right. Okay.
All right, and the little guy gets a little more
A little more length.
excitement. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the star of the show today.
And just come up that distance, about like that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then around. Just wrap it around so it stays at that length.
Okay. Okay, Becky, let's see
All
how it
right.
looks. Ta-da! I think that looks wonderful. So now that our wreaths are done, we can move on to garland if we want, or roping as you call it. And this is lovely. It's the long stuff you put where, Becky? What looks good with the garland?
The garland is beautiful on a bridge or a doorway, on a pillar, a stairway. It's
Yeah.
beautiful in a lot of areas it can be used.
That is so cool.
Beautiful, yep.
So what can you do to add a little color if you want to jazz up the already beautiful greens? Put some ribbon, some
Sure.
Christmas lights. How would we go about doing that?
Christmas lights, I would say, could be attached last.
Last, okay. So you don't have to wrap those. Those could
Right.
go right inside.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
good.
For the ribbon, we would attach at one end. So you could attach, there's a hook on every rope on each end of the rope.
Okay.
And then you could wrap it around and around.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
And kind of maybe tuck it in a little
Mm-hmm.
in places and have it flare out in others.
And again, really, it's an art, so
Right, right.
you don't have to be a perfectionist about it.
No.
That's helpful around the holidays, don't you think?
Yes,
Any
Yes.
excuse we can have to
That's
just
right.
wing it
that's right.
is good. Now that we've wrapped the ribbon, put it where we want it, you can add pine cones. They look really nice in this too, you said?
They do, yes. So you attach them the same way we did with the wreath.
You added a berry accent on some of them.
You can add a berry accent, but see how we've wired the wire around the pine cone this way, and then just attaching it like this.
Beautiful. So now we have all of our greens ready. Santa's ready to come. This looks like Santa's workshop. I bet it does out at Dixon's too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Well, thank you so much, Becky, for taking the time to show us a little bit about how we can make those Pinterest dreams come true on our own for the holidays. And you have an event coming up, Deck the Halls with Dixon's, where you can come and actually do some wreath making with you in terms of decorating and get in the holiday spirit with music and holiday hay rides and all that good stuff.
Right.
Thank you so much, Becky. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
QueenTV is produced at Stokes Herzog Studios and sponsored by Ritchie, Wickstrom & Walks, your personal injury attorneys.